Listen closely, do you hear that? The wind carries more than just the rustling of leaves. It carries secrets, whispers from a time long forgotten. A whisper carried on the wind. It's a voice that speaks of things unseen, of shadows that move in the corners of your vision. It speaks of ancient curses and restless spirits. These are not just stories, but echoes of a past that refuses to be silenced. It urges you to subscribe, to protect yourself from the unseen forces that surround us. These forces are always watching, waiting for a moment of weakness. Ignore this warning, and you might just find yourself face to face with the chilling reality of the supernatural. The haunted places, the eerie sounds, they are all too real. The wind howls, a mournful cry that sends shivers down your spine. It's a sound that has haunted many before you, a sound that carries the weight of countless souls. It's a warning, a plea from beyond the veil. The spirits are restless, and they seek to be heard. They seek to be acknowledged. Subscribe now and shield yourself from the darkness that lurks just beyond your sight. Embrace the knowledge and let it be your guide through the shadows. Gwalior Fort, a fortress of ancient secrets, a sentinel of stone and time itself. Its ramparts have witnessed centuries of history, its stones stained with the echoes of bloodshed and sorrow. But history is never truly past or forgotten. Within the fort's looming walls, shadows move. Whispers dance on the wind, carrying tales of tragedy and despair. Gwalior Fort, they say, is haunted, trapped by its grandeur, consumed by its darkness. Madhu, 23 years old, living in the bustling city of Delhi. Her life, a tapestry woven with threads of family and longing. Her mother, a woman shrouded in sorrow. Her sister, a reflection of Madhu's own yearning for a complete family. 15 years. 15 years since Madhu last saw her father. 15 years of silence, shrouded in her mother's refusal to speak of him, to allow her daughters to visit him in Gwalior. Gwalior, the city of the haunted fort, the city that held her father captive. I'm going to Gwalior. Madhu's voice, firm despite the tremor in her heart. Her mother's face, a mask of terror, contorted in a silent plea. But Madhu was resolute. She had to know the truth. The train journey, a blur of anticipation and dread. Gwalior loomed closer, the fort visible from miles away, a menacing silhouette against the setting sun. As Madhu stepped onto the platform, a chill wind whispered her name, and a sense of foreboding settled over her. Night fell. The darkness in Madhu's room felt heavy, suffocating. Sleep came, but it offered no escape. Instead, she was plunged into a vortex of terror. She saw her father, his face etched with fear, running through the desolate corridors of the fort. A figure emerged from the shadows. A woman draped in white, her head gone. Empty space where her face should have been. Her father screamed, a desperate, soul-wrenching cry. Madhu woke with a gasp, her heart pounding against her ribs. The news came like a blow. Her father was dead. Suicide, they said. The words echoed in her mind, each repetition more painful than the last. She couldn't believe it, didn't want to believe it. Her father, a man of strength and resilience, had taken his own life. It seemed impossible, a cruel twist of fate. Found within the walls of the fort, Madhu's world shattered. The fort, once a place of history and stories, now became a tomb of her father's secrets. She had always felt a strange connection to the fort, but now it felt like a prison, holding her father's last moments within its ancient stones. Grief, sharp and raw, tore through her. It was a pain unlike any she had ever known, a deep, gnawing ache that seemed to consume her very soul. She cried until there were no tears left, her body racked with sobs that echoed through the empty halls of the fort. But there was something else, a nagging feeling, a sense that there was more to the story than what she had been told. She couldn't shake the feeling that her father's death was not as straightforward as it seemed, a chilling familiarity to the scene described by the authorities. The fort, the place where her father was found, had always given her an eerie feeling. Now, it seemed to hold even darker secrets. Her sister, her eyes red-rimmed, recounted a chilling detail. She spoke of their mother's breakdown, the whispered words that had sent shivers down her spine. Her mother's breakdown, her whispered words. He saw her, just like in my dream. The dream, the woman in white, the headless apparition. These were not just figments of imagination, but a shared vision that had haunted their family for generations. It wasn't just a nightmare. It was a premonition, a dark forewarning that had now come to pass. The fort, with its shadowy corners and eerie corridors, seemed to be a place where the past and present collided in the most terrifying way. It was a shared vision, a chilling premonition of her father's demise. The weight of truth bore down on Madhu as she realized that the fort held not just her father's secrets, but the dark history of her family as well. Memories flooded back, vivid and terrifying. The ancient fort stood as a silent sentinel, its walls whispering tales of the past. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant call of a bird. Shadows danced in the fading light, creating an atmosphere that was both enchanting and foreboding. Madhu, a child of 8, visiting the fort with her parents. It was supposed to be an adventure, a day of exploration and wonder. Her parents had told her stories of the fort's history, of battles fought and lost, of kings and queens who once walked its halls. Her father's hand, warm and reassuring, holding hers as they explored the ancient grounds. Then, the separation. One moment, she was safe, her father's presence a comforting anchor. The next, she was adrift, alone in a sea of stone and shadow. Her father, distracted, disappearing around a corner. She called out to him, her voice small and uncertain, but he did not hear. The walls seemed to close in around her, the once fascinating ruins now a labyrinth of fear. Madhu, left alone, her small hand clutching at the empty air. The silence was deafening, each step echoing loudly in the deserted corridors. She tried to be brave, to remember the stories her parents had told her, but the fear was overwhelming. Fear, primal and instinctive, seizing her. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat a drum of terror. She could feel the weight of the fort's history pressing down on her, the ghosts of the past whispering in her ears. And then she saw her, a figure pale and ethereal, standing in the shadows. The woman in white, her eyes sad and distant, seemed to float towards her. Madhu's breath caught in her throat, her legs frozen in place. The woman in white, her spectral form gliding towards her. She reached out a hand, as if to touch Madhu, to comfort her. But the touch never came. Instead, the figure dissolved into the mist, leaving Madhu trembling and alone. Madhu screamed, a high-pitched wail that echoed through the vast emptiness of the fort. Her cry was a plea for help, a desperate call to the living to save her from the ghosts of the past. Her father returned, scooping her into his arms, his face pale with concern. He held her close, whispering words of comfort, but the fear lingered. The echoes of that day would haunt her for years to come, to be continued.